Hi, I'm Daz. I'm the producer of The Drift, and I've just had a 4-hour meeting with Sue, who is the scriptwriter, screenplay writer for The Drift. But also, which is more than that, insofar as that she also worked on the continuity, a story arc during pre-production, and continues to provide an input on the story arc in post. And whilst the visual effects are sort of moving forward slowly but surely, the edit itself still continues to evolve. And I think what's been really effective today is in the meeting is sort of twofold. The first one is to sort of share ideas about how the edit is going, both sharing my ideas with Sue and Sue with me. Although we kind of have the same ideas in terms of what the film is meant to look like and what the story is, because that's kind of been shot. The order in which certain things are seen and the pace of the edit and all that kind of stuff. We kind of come from sort of two different places, which is actually quite valuable, because in terms of the two places, Sue's very technical and provides a very technically critical assessment of where things are going, from continuity to placement of objects to placement of people, but also from what is said and what is not said. And it's going through the script again, having not looked at the script in so much detail perhaps since before we shot, is that pretty much every single line has a reason for being there, and that's quite interesting really, because it's interesting to think about that you write every single time, like little feed of tiny line. Like, for example, we need that fuel rod for repairs. It's all about setting up things for later on in the movie. Sometimes for a climactic sort of payoff, sometimes to explain something later on that may not have been clear without that line previously. So it's not as simple as just getting rid of a line because you think the angle's rubbish or it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It might do later on, and Sue brings that sort of technical aspect to it. And from my side of the house, the kind of things that I'm sort of bringing is in terms of sort of the dramatic edit. So I might want to get rid of something because it's not really doing anything for me, but then technically it might have an important line that's needed for later on. So we look at how do we sort of achieve both aims there. How do we reduce that particular scene, or if we get rid of it, how do we get that information to the audience in another way? So that's been really good. But what also has been very helpful and sort of like one of those sort of realisation moments is that at this stage, although we're at the sort of fourth cut, in terms of, say, fourth round of cuts, not like just the fourth cut, some things have been cut perhaps 15 times, 16 times already, but in terms of like sort of the fourth round, sort of major fourth step, is we still haven't done any of the sort of sound work or grading or colours or technical issues. We're not worried about any of that. We're still very much working on how the story plays out and at what points the audience is informed of what things and what impact that has. Because when this audience watches a certain thing, they only know generally what they've seen so far. So there's lots of like reveals all the way and that sort of thing. Doesn't have to be dramatic reveal, it's just another bit of information. So we're still kind of sort of toying around with that and the pace of the movie. And that's really good, because in the past I might have perhaps not allowed that to happen quite so much, whether it's patience to get the thing done or because I want to get the visual effects in or whatever. And to have that patience this time is really paying off, and it kind of mirrors actually what happened in the story process, because again, Sue and I spent a lot of time just talking about what happens in the story, not what is said or who says it, but basically this happens, then this happens, and this happens, then they go here, then they do this, then this happens, then this happens, and then they argue about this, and then they go here, and then they split up here, and then this happens, and this happens. And by doing that, it allowed the script to flow much, much better, and allowed it to be more real, more natural. And we're kind of doing that again now in the edit. Although we already have the script, we're still looking at the journey of that script and in what order certain things are given. And some things are being sort of flipped right on their head. The biggest lesson out of all of this really is to not be too impatient and allow the edit to continue and to bring people in to discuss it. And that way you're getting a more sort of involving process. I mean, we've got sort of things where we're sort of cutting away back and forth to shots of people, you know, that's not actually even in the scripts at the moment, sort of reactions and all that kind of stuff, and how for example, one element of the journey where the characters go from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, and how someone else is watching them on a radio, or watching on a radio, but, you know, looking on a video screen or whatever. At what points do you sort of go back to them and all that kind of thing? So that's creating some sort of real value. So in terms of sort of the whole sort of how long it is going to take for this movie to complete, you know, actually we're doing very well, and I think it's great that we're sort of allocating that much time to it. So yeah, it's funny because the film, if you watch it, it kind of looks, well, it doesn't look like it's finished, but you sort of watch it and think, oh, that was okay. But then you sort of watch it again, you think, well, okay, but that's not quite right, and that doesn't quite add up. And you sort of multiply that by all the sort of different bits of scenes and things like that, then you sort of see that actually there's quite a lot of things that need to be changed. So, no, it's good value. So that's what I just thought to say that, you know, still looking at the edit process while the visual effects sort of going on in the background and that. And this is certainly a very valuable part of the project. So there we go.